I'm going full Hassan Piker mode on this video. Keep in mind, I'm not him, so I just looked up some of the stuff I want to talk about, because right now in Spain there's a big problem with housing prices. If you don't know, I'm Spanish, I'm from Spain, I live here, I've always lived here, and now I'm living the beautiful thing that is knowing that I can never rent an apartment. I'm not even talking about buying, that's another thing. I'm talking about renting, which is crazy that I'm saying I can never do it. People my age and people not even my age, people that are around 30, they're talking about the same thing, how this is impossible right now. I have the average salary in Spain and the average housing price. Get ready for this. The average housing price is 2,389 euros. This is monthly, by the way, which is like, that's too much. Like, I don't know how that's the average. I will say 1,000 will be the average. That will be my guess. The fact that it's over 2,000, I think it's crazy, because keep in mind there aren't that many houses in Spain. It's usually an apartment, so like keep that in mind. The average salary monthly is 2,255. The house costs more than what you earn monthly, and we're not talking about utilities and the clothes that you need to wear and then food that you need to buy to eat. Like, we're not talking about that, we're just talking about what you have to pay for your house. It's insane. The pricing has skyrocketed in the last 10 years. Get ready for this. Like, the numbers here are insane. 123%. What? In 10 years is not that many years to be that high. And the thing is, the salaries are not rising as much. The house prices rises 25%. I think this is in the last year, and the salaries have risen at 7%. Like, that's clearly not enough, especially if you go over time. That's how we got to the 123%. So what's the problem? Why is this the case right now? In 2008 there was a big crisis with especially the construction and stuff like that, but we're talking about the last 10 years, so I think 2008 it might have been the start, but like, we're talking about other things now. Apparently there is low supply, which surprised me, because I know there are a lot of empty houses, and that's another point that I have. Empty houses in poor conditions. For instance, in my hometown, I know that in the city center there are a lot of apartments that are really old and they're not giving any use. No one is living there, not even offices and things like that. And I think that's kind of part of the problem, the fact that we're not utilizing some of these apartments that are completely empty and no one is using them, no one owns them, or even if they do, it's just like rich people that had the apartment because of a heritage and now they're not using it at all. So another thing is that less people are now working in construction, therefore labor has become more expensive. I've heard about this, and not only construction, I've heard about many jobs that requires kind of being handy, like the plumber. I think things like this are now less common for people. I think in general now young people have better access to an education, particularly university and stuff. Every time I hear Americans say how much their college fees cost, it's insane to me, because I had a scholarship, but like, it's not that I'm particularly poor or anything. Most people have a scholarship. I think every single one of my friends had a scholarship in university and high school and everything. Like, most people have one, so it's not a rare thing or something that you particularly need to earn. Most people just have it. I think my college, like the 4 years that I went to university in total, I think it was like 100 euros. Probably with the scholarships, which paid for most of the things, I just had to pay for the insurance entrance, and then like the title itself I had to pay for it, but that's it. I think now it's easier for us to get an education, and people, like, obviously you need to get an education if you want to be an electrician or something like that, but I think that's way less common now, because before it used to be like people that works in those fields don't earn that much. I think now it's the complete opposite, because there aren't many people that work in that kind of job. Now it's so expensive that the government can't really afford it. So these empty houses, for instance, in poor conditions, it's like it will cost so much to rehabilitate them that they just don't do it. And another thing that's really interesting, and it's particularly if you don't live in Spain, this can be applied to you, is that touristic houses inflate costs. Now this is a very big thing in Spain right now. The tourist situation is something that many people talk about. I went to a tour the other day, and it was like an architecture tour, and this architecture was talking about how it is important that tourists live here, or not live here but stay here and pay for the apartments. The problem with that is that I think Spain has depended too much on tourism as a way of an economic benefit, I guess. Like, our economy completely depends on tourism to a degree that's dangerous, because something that also has happened is that people from the north of Europe, or like other places in Europe in general, for instance all the Nordic countries, usually has a better salary than here in Spain. However, their taxes are higher as well, and the products and everything they want to buy is going to be also more expensive. The thing is, now with the remote, like, online jobs, there's so many people that come live in Spain. They have their online jobs and they come to live in Spain because they're like, oh my god, this is so cheap. Yeah, but it is cheap because our salaries are not that high. You're bringing your big salary but paying our taxes, you know what I mean? So that's like a huge problem. Tourism in general, and also foreign people, not even immigrants, because I think that many people think immigrants as for people that come to Spain, and same thing that you hear from Trump, you can hear it here, like, oh, the immigrants are taking our jobs. The immigrants they're talking about, for instance, people from Africa. Spain is really close to Africa. A lot of people from Morocco, for instance, come to Spain. Those people usually takes the worst job, the jobs that no one wants here. So it's like they're not taking anything from us because we didn't want it in the first place. I think it's better to be upset at the rich people that comes and stay in our apartments but paying double that what we can pay for. I don't want to say don't come here, because I think like that's kind of the sentiment that many people in Spain have. Like, they want to keep tourists away from Spain. But we can't afford that either. That's why this architecture person was talking about how important it was to have touristic houses and to have tourists in Spain, because we do depend on it. The problem comes from a further place. So just say don't come to Spain, it's not something that we can really do, because our economy will go to shit, to be honest and clear. It's this weird feeling of we don't want tourists but we need them. And I say this from a city that's very, very touristic. Like, you can kind of hear my city. My city is Malaga. It's not the capital of anything. It's not the capital of Spain. It's not the capital of our community. It's not a capital. It's not a super big city. It's not an important or a super historical city. It's not. But the thing is, it's very, very touristic because the south has the better weather and we have the beach. It's pretty. I think it's a pretty city. Many tourists come here, and now it's getting impossible to just walk around the city because it's not a big city. We're not talking Madrid, we're not talking Barcelona. Now in Malaga and cities like this, they are kind of medium, kind of small. There are so many people, but it's like I cannot say just don't come to Spain because we can afford to say that. So we don't know what to do. I don't. I'm not a politician, so thank God I'm not. I don't know what the solution is really, because I could just say raise the salaries or lower the housing prices, but I know that's not possible. The only thing that we can do is just stay with our parents. The emancipation age in Spain, I think the average was like 31. Again, like when I hear Americans, usually I hear a lot of Americans say, I'm 21, I should be getting out of my house, like I need to leave, I need to be independent. It's like, we can say that here. Like I can get a job, I can, even if I have a job, it's not enough to rent an apartment. I'm not talking buying a house, I'm just talking renting a studio apartment. I can do that with an average salary. So it's like, it's so messy right now. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry, I'm ending the video in such a low note, but that's kind of the thing that's going on here. Let me know what you think and the situation in your country, because obviously I'm saying Spain like we're going through a super sad moment. I know it's not that big of a deal, but it's something that's going on. So I would like to hear your stories from your countries and see how other people are living in the world, things like this, for instance, your salaries, your housing prices, anything that's going on in your country. Please let me know. I think it will be really interesting to read. And of course, please do subscribe because it's free and you can change your mind anytime. Have a nice week.